Next thing I want to do is just start removing some of this wiring because I'm going to take the intake off. Now, some people say that they leave the intake on when they do this. Look, I'm just going to take it off because it's so much easier. These plugs here just come off. I'll take these coils out because they're going to have to come out later anyway. Just a bolt for each coil, and then we can pull that up and out. And seeing that these aren't wet or oily is always a good sign. A little wire that runs up here, let's just pop it off that plastic clip. The clip, just squeeze the back of it, see if we can try again. That's it. Put that off as well. Like we can just pull that up out of there. It's interesting because it feels like a plug's in there, but it's all taped up, so I'm not going to undo that. I'll leave that how that is. Now over on this side we have a number of earth leads that all come to these two bolts, so let's just take these bolts out. It's a simple bolt like that, and then there's the first two earth leads off. I'm going to run that bolt back in. Oops, we dropped that one. Let's find it. And that bolt that just fell through, of all the places it could have fallen, it fell into the oil drain underneath the car. After 5 minutes of looking, that's where it was. We'll just run that back in a little bit so we don't lose it either. Now there is a bracket here that's got a fair bit of wiring attached to it. What I might do is just undo the bracket where it attaches there with that 10mm. And that way we can just take the bracket and the wiring with it. So remove all that. And this wiring here, there's another plug that comes down to just there. There's a blue plug. Hopefully the camera picks that up. Okay, a little tip here, so it's easy enough to squeeze if you just push down with that screwdriver, and then I just pushed it out that way. But there's your squeeze point that sits on the top. Now this connects down into the fuel injectors. So there's the squeeze point there, and we can just pop it open. So that again, we'll just pop it off. So now we've got two little plastic clips that are just holding that to the bracket. So just push them through, just give them a squeeze and push. Now this wiring here is just secured to this bracket. You could try and pop it off there, but I'm just going to undo this bolt here. And, just run that bolt back in. Just going to push that out of the side for now. Back up here we've got the vacuum hose. It's got a clamp. It's just facing nicely upwards, so squeeze that. Just move that pipe up, slide it off. It's also got a little point that just holds it here. What I'm going to do is open that up, pop that apart, just so I can move it right out of the way. Hey, I want to remove this top of this intake manifold. Now, we've got two nuts on the end, and then there's two bolts, and another bolt in the middle. So the two kind of sit in between the intake runners, and there's some right down low and some right up high. So we're going to zip them off. Sorry, I can't really show you much better than that. So I'm using a 12mm just with a short extension for the lower ones. You can sit that on. another nut that's on that far side. And we've got two that are right down the back, so they go in between the two intake runners. So down in between here. You'll be able to see once I got it off. And that one, and we've got two that are up the top here. So I don't need the extension bar anymore. And that's that one there. So you had the two big ones at the front, you had three smaller ones at the back, and two nuts on either end. Now in on the side here we have a bracket, so there's two bolts that look like securing it to the head, and then there's a couple bolts that secure it to the intake manifold. So I'm just going to do these two off the head and hopefully we can pull it out from there. So they're the two bolts from that bracket. We've got a couple of lines here that we need to remove. This one here, it's got a clamp on this end, there's no clamp on this end. Maybe there should be, but look, it slides off fairly easily. We've got some hoses here that go back, so look, pick which end seems easier for you to take off. I'm just going to unclip it from there. Pull that off and just get that up and out of the way. Now, everything here is loose. Now also let me talk to you about something here. We have the fuel line here, it has this little sort of safety clip over it, and there's a tool that you put up in there to, it's like a quick release fuel tool. I can't find mine. I've just spent the last 5-10 minutes looking for it. Who knows where it is? So I'm going to go to plan B, which is leave that on for now and figure out what we're going to do in a minute or two. So with that, there is some wiring at the back that's attached to another little clamp. So let's have a little look at that. Just sort of squeeze those points in on the clip. I'll be able to show you all of this once we've got it out. So I think I've got everything. Let's do a final check around. No, there's always something I need. So we've got that off. We should be able to remove it with that still in the way. Let's pull it out. Just another little vacuum hose coming in the back here that's didn't remove. This vacuum hose here, it doesn't have a clamp, but just going to use the pliers just to loosen it off. Let's get that up and out of the way. Okay, so remember, it's sitting in the car like that. When you tip it over, there was the two nuts on either end, three smaller bolts, and then the two longer bolts. So we had the little vacuum tube. It was a bit hard to see. And obviously that was the brake booster there. So that's the top of our intake.